Daily God's Promise Day 6 Jeremiah chapter 29 verse 11. For I know the thoughts that I think toward you, says the Lord, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you a future and a hope. This is not a general statement, it's a personal declaration from God to his people in exile. Israel was in Babylon, a place of captivity, confusion, and hopelessness. But God speaks into their crisis, revealing that he still has a plan. God thinks about you, and his thoughts are never random or reactionary. They are intentional, loving, and full of purpose. Thoughts of peace and not of evil. The Hebrew word for peace here is shalom, meaning wholeness, harmony, and well-being. Even when circumstances feel chaotic, God's intentions are still peaceful. He does not devise evil against us, his nature is good, and his plans are for our good. To give you a future and a hope. This is a divine promise of restoration, not just survival. A future speaks to what's coming. A hope speaks to how we view what's coming. God's promise isn't just for where you are, but where you're going. In Genesis chapter 50 verse 20, Joseph reminds his brothers that what was meant for evil, God used for good, to save lives. In Isaiah chapter 55 verse 8-9, God says his thoughts are higher than ours, meaning he sees what we cannot. In Lamentations chapter 3 verse 21-23, in the middle of sorrow, Jeremiah declares hope because of God's unfailing love and mercy. In Romans chapter 8 verse 28, Paul reminds us that all things work together for good to those who love God. In 1 Peter chapter 1 verse 3, we are given a living hope through the resurrection of Jesus Christ. In Hebrews chapter 10 verse 23, we're told to hold fast the confession of our hope without wavering, for he who promised is faithful. This verse reminds us that God's promises are not canceled by our circumstances. Even when life feels broken, God is still building something beautiful. For the modern believer, this is a word of endurance. The waiting season is not a wasted season, it is a place where God's plans are quietly unfolding. This verse is for every heart that's been questioning if God still has a plan. He does. And it's better than what we could imagine. For today's generation battling discouragement and uncertainty, this promise declares, your future is still in God's hands. You may feel delayed, but you're not denied. You may feel forgotten, but you are deeply known. God's thoughts toward you are not passing, they are eternal. So take heart. Your future is not in the hands of chance, but in the hands of a good God. God bless you and give you grace after grace.